We're live.
Way up in this bitch. What's up?
Oh man, let's. Oh, there we go. There's our banner. We did it, Jansen.
Why though? Why did we do that?
What stupid background should I have for this?
You know what? I actually do need a minute.
Really? Right when I hit record and start going
Yeah.
live?
Yeah. I'm sorry.
All right, you fuck off. I'm gonna start the show on my own, I guess.
I'll be right back.
He's Jensen Carlin, and he's fucking off.
Fucking off.
All right. I'm the professional half. Why did he leave right when we started recording? Come on. This is so unprofessional. Anyway, welcome to LIW Anthology Series Review, episode 66. This is room 104, 210, Artificial. I do have to play our government-mandated intro, though, so I guess he's got time.
This is not a test. This is your emergency broadcast system announcing the commencement of the weekly podcast sanctioned by the government of Wonderland. Swear words of Class 4 and lower have been authorized for use during the podcast. All other swear words are restricted. Wonderland officials of ranking 10 have been granted immunity from the podcast and shall not be harmed. Commencing at the siren, any and all crime, including murder, will be legal for 1 continuous hour. Police, fire, and emergency medical services will be unavailable until the podcast concludes. Blessed be our Wonderland leaders in America, a nation reborn. LIW Anthology Series Review is now in effect.
Hello, citizens. Welcome to LIW Anthology Series Review, episode 66, room 104, 210, Artificial. It's my first time watching this show. I've known about it since it came on the air. It's a show that they lease out to HBO. And going off this one episode, I don't know why it's been around for 4 years. I think it's the series has been canceled since then. But why the holy hell is this show in existence is beyond me. If they're all like this, maybe this is just the worst episode, but also has a 7.2 in IMDb, so not a bad score. But yeah, we watched this. It's only 27 minutes long. It felt longer than the Amazing Stories episode we did last week. That was an hour long. It's literally the background that you're seeing there on the live stream. It's just two people sitting there talking about robots and nonsense. I'm just filling time till Jansen gets back, so I'll air my grievances. Room 104. I decided to just choose a bunch of shows that were kind of still on the air or more recent. That's why I did Amazing Stories 2020. That's why I did American Horror Stories. That's why I chose this. We're doing Creep Show next week. We're doing after that. I chose Lee Martin's The Midnight Hour because it just looks awful. And somehow that show was around for 7 years. But yeah, I chose this because it was modern. I wanted to get some modern shows because the Wheel doesn't like to pick that. It likes to pick Alcoa Goodyear Theater from 1947 or whatever. It likes the old shows that we have to suffer through. So I wanted a modern show. And I paid the price dearly because it turns out modern anthology shows are not all great. Are any of them great? Just Creep Show and Inside Number 9? Is that it? I don't like Black Mirror. The new Twilight Zone series sucks for the most part. Is there anything of value? People love Black Mirror. I don't get it. Because episodes like this where it's just like a downer and you don't get anything out of it. I don't feel like I watched anything. I felt like two people just sat there. I felt like I was at the dentist office.
It was like a bullshit TED talk for 35 minutes.
Didn't you feel like that you were just watching someone have a conversation at the dentist office?
Yeah.
Office,
I was listening to a computer have a conversation with an idiot.
I remember this thing when I was a kid, when computers first came out. Newer computers. And
wait, hold on. Let's back up there. When computers first came out, you're not that old.
When personal computers came out and people started buying them,
you
started seeing them in people's houses. One of the first programs that we found was Eliza, and it's not the first version of that type of thing. There's like Dr. I forget what it's called, something weird, but it's like a virtual therapist, and you would just say random shit, and it would just auto generate a response.
Yeah.
We had so much fun with it, and that's what it felt like. Just that's
It's
all I
like
get.
it's like Alexa, but it's like Alexa, but less knowledgeable and more cunty.
Yeah. It's like, oh, let's not talk about that. Yeah, that's all I ever said.
Right.
But it kind of reminded me of that.
Yeah, it was a big pile of dog shit.
You are the most negative person on here.
What, dude? What do you want from me? I'm not gonna pull punches. Like, I know what's good and what's not good, just like anybody else who's on here. Like, I can make adjustments and like see the value in things, but that was dog shit. Like, that was like an attempt at Black Mirror, but without the funding and without the writing.
And speaking of the writing, let's talk about that.
Okay.
I mentioned as we started watching it, this is a Duplass Brothers project. And you said, "Who's that?" I didn't realize the first thing we saw on Room 104 credits was Duplass Brothers. I was like,
Right.
"Oh, okay, they're aware." Okay, so this is you're gonna recognize it. Let me just say, this episode stars Katie Aselton, who is on The League.
Yeah, I like her. She's funny on The League. I don't think she's anything in this.
Her name Jenny.
Yeah, I think so, Jenny.
But she's married to Kevin, played by Steve Renazizi.
I haven't watched this show in so long.
Their friend on The League is one of the Duplass brothers.
Really?
You'll see him after this. This is Jay Duplass. This is one of the brothers. And then Mark Duplass is the brother.
Okay.
So that's Katie, the actress in this episode. This is her real life husband.
Interesting.
He's in this awesome movie called Creep and Safety Not Guaranteed. I like him as an actor.
Yeah.
His writing.
I enjoy him in The League, but
yeah, his brother too. He's in some good stuff. Sure. But Mark's writing so far, what I've seen.
What else has he done that he's written that you've watched?
Oh God. Okay. This episode, I watched The Creep. I've watched Jeff Who Lives at Home.
Isn't it the one with what's his bucket? Paul Rudd?
No, that's Jason Segel and Ed Helms.
Oh,
it's a super hipster movie.
So it might as well be Paul Rudd in there because they all do that shit together.
Yeah, and I've seen a couple other things here and there, but I've seen Creep.
Yeah,
which
I like Segel, and I like
I haven't seen Cyrus. Was it Dick who was trying to tell us to watch that? I don't remember, but
maybe I don't know.
Anyway, yeah, I like his acting just fine. Writing, yeah. But this episode, if this is an example of his writing, because this is just like right in the beginning intro. He walks into the room and she's going, "Hello, I am sex bot number 340." She's talking like that, and he's a reporter and he's there to write a story on how there's robots coming to take over the world, and that's the setup of the episode. And I was like, okay, he's going to be the robot. I didn't realize it'd be dumb where she's also the robot.
Yeah.
But, I kind of had that thought at some point. But then I also said if it ends with men in white lab coats come in and take it, I was pissed. And then that's what fucking happened. Everything I said, everything he predicted happened.
Oh, man, I was so happy when that happened. I was like, oh, no, he called it.
Oh, no.
I just feel like this has been done before. This is a story that we've seen before. Like, this has to be in Twilight Zone somewhere, right? Not necessarily maybe this exact thing, but like probably the same ideas are elements of an episode, right? I mean, maybe not Twilight Zone, but something similar.
It's definitely along the lines of the Philip K. Dick stuff. Where he loves the robots, like Blade Runner, stuff like that, where it's. You're supposed to the whole time you're supposed to be guessing, is Deckard is he a robot?
Right.
Is he a replicant? We don't know.
Yeah.
But
I don't know.
This did feel like a really shitty, in which I already think Black Mirror shitty. So this is a very shitty episode of Black Mirror.
Well, and that's the problem with Black Mirror is, I mean, it's kind of like any other anthology show where some episodes are just hit or miss. Like, there's some episodes of Black Mirror where like, oh, damn, this is the shit. Like, I can't believe they thought of this and wrote this. And then there's other ones where I'm like, this is a fucking flop. And this is absolutely a fucking flop.
And I think that's the situation with this show. Because there's some episodes that looked interesting, but I just chose this one because I was like, oh, robots. Okay. What's to do with that? We haven't done a robot episode on the show. That's why I chose it.
I haven't done robot anything in quite some time.
Turns out we haven't done a robot episode still.
Yeah.
Really about robots.
It was about hybrids.
Yeah.
Whatever the fuck that is. Yeah, I mean, and then it just shows you how low budget it is too when they don't even show you anything. Like it's just a conversation. The entire episode is a conversation, and that's so fucking boring. Like you're writing if an entire episode of something or a long period of a feature is going to be talking, that dialogue better be fucking top tier to keep that audience engaged. And this dialogue was boring as all fuck. So
there were peaks in the dialogue. Like there were
sure. Yeah, I mean,
the
like
problem is the previous 8 minutes.
Yeah, it's just dull,
Went on
and
too
then
long.
it like wakes you up a little bit. You're like,
when she started talking, like, this is how they take over. You don't believe me, and we take over because I just look like another person to you, and then we take over, and
right.
that caught me. And I was like, oh, something's going on.
Yeah, I would equate it to like music, right? There's a few crescendos throughout the episode where stuff gets heightened and you're like, oh, I'm paying attention now. Yeah. But if the rest of the piece isn't interesting, then why am I listening to it, right? You got to lead me there in a way that makes me want to be interested in that crescendo. And I could just not give a shit.
I feel like the AC in here turned off.
Oh, no.
Sweating like crazy.
It's the hat, bro. Are you wearing socks right now? That does me in.
I don't wear socks.
Okay.
Since I got back
hats
to Hawaii,
do it too, though.
I've worn my shoes and socks like 4 or 5 times.
Right.
I refuse.
Yeah. When we go back to the office, life's going to end.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, it's but I know what you're saying with the long dialogue, and part of that is based on the premise of the show alone, because it's called Room 104.
Yeah.
I forgot what room number because it doesn't
because it doesn't matter because they didn't talk about it at all.
Yeah. Well, we do another show on the show called Inside Number 9, and every episode is based on a place, any place in the world, but it's number 9. Like it's this house is number 9. This apartment's number 9. It keeps it really vague.
So that's a fun play on words type of deal, right? Gives it some interest.
Yeah, but this one is all in this exact hotel room. It's all about the stories told in this hotel room, and they're all different. Like there's comedy ones, there's horror ones.
Oh, interesting. Okay, see, I didn't grasp that concept. Yeah, obviously, this is the first. Yeah,
yeah. But the problem with that is it really limits your locations clearly because the premise of the show is one location. But if you don't have people coming in and out like a sitcom, like the guy comes in like, "Where's the fucking avocados?" Like some sort of funny guy or
Jerry, where are you?
They're not going to leave. So it all boils down to the dialogue, and if the dialogue is droll, the episodes are bore.
That makes me mad too because it's like if you are deciding to make a show with the premise of being one room, that means that all of your effort should go into writing and becoming creative for what you can do within that one room, right? I didn't see any creativity in this, right? It really is just a conversation.
The very end.
Yeah.
And then the ending to hold up a lot of weight of the previous 27 minutes you watched.
It might have had there been any other like little like peeks into that world. Right.
Yeah.
But since there wasn't, it just falls flat for me.
Yeah, it's the behind the scenes of the show are actually more. They're better than the actual episode we watched because basically Mark and Jay own this show. They lease it to HBO. They say, "Here, you could throw this on your show. You basically rent an episode and throw it on the air." And so, but at the end of the day, they still own it, which is genius. Like, because they get to hold everything. They hold all the cards. You're muted.
My mouse is going. I need to get a new mouse. It like does this double click thing whenever I click it once now. Sorry. Anyways, that's interesting though.
Canned air.
Huh?
Just get some canned air.
No, it's like I've clicked it too many times and it's like starting to.
Oh, it's got even though it's plastic, it has those black grooves one into the white.
Maybe, sort of thing. I don't know. It's like a really expensive, like Nice mouse.
I can't even show my mouse because you bound the back of my cable.
So sorry, buddy. Isn't it so nice and organized, though?
It sure was.
It sure was. Oh, God.
But yeah, it's I find that more interesting than the actual episode.
100%. I mean, who else has a deal like that? You know what I mean? Like, that's
First
unheard
of all,
of.
That's why it's so low budget, which I don't mind the low budget factor of that. I
Me
just
neither.
want a well written episode, and
Well,
this wasn't poorly written. It was just kind of too long for the premise.
yeah, and I like I said before, like it just goes back to my previous thought. Like I'm all for low budget, but if you can't back it up with something compelling, what's the point? At this point, you're doing a skit, and it should be on YouTube. You know what I mean? Like it shouldn't be on a major network. So
it makes me wonder how good the other episodes are.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like with anything Anthology, there's got to be some bangers in there, right? So yeah. I don't know. Hopefully, I'm hopeful for sure, but this one was not it. Like, don't get me wrong, they made something. At the end of the day, I've come back to this topic a ton of times. You know, it's insane to get something made, and they did it, and I commend them for that. But in all reality, what they made wasn't worth the paper it was printed on. So,
no, they made 4 seasons of a show, and kudos to them, because as limiting as their premise of the show is, which is one room, all these stories told in the same room, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
The creativity comes in when anything could happen in that room. So you get like, there's an animated episode, there's like fucking monster episodes, and there's comedy episodes, and there's dramas, and there's, you know, they can do anything.
So it's like Community inside one room.
Yeah, but they can just anything they want to do, they can do that as long as it's
so
room.
Where does this episode fall in the timeline as far as like, is this season 1, 2, 3, 4?
This is episode 210.
So it's episode 2.
So about halfway.
10. Okay. End of season 2. Got you.
I'm not sure how many there were per year. Let's look it up, because it was from
40-minute episodes, maybe like 15 episodes a season.
There was 12 the first. No. 12 the first. 12 the second. I'm guessing there's 12 every year.
12 every year. So yeah, towards the end of season 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'd be happy to watch some other ones, just because I think it has potential.
Well, I mean, look at some of these images. Like, those look interesting. Like, just the variety, because you got people hugging, you got an animated one, you got dancing, you got some.
Like, what's happening there?
I don't know.
That looks interesting.
The Last Man. There's No Dice. There's Foam Party.
Well, and you can see it too in the ratings of each episode. They're so skewed. Like, 6.0 is about the average, but you can see it goes from like 7.3 down to 4.1. Like, that's a pretty wide range. So,
is that Luke Wilson?
I think so.
The plot. We should have done that one.
Damn, dude, why do you pick the garbage episodes?
I just picked a random one. I was literally like, oh, robot. We have not done a robot episode in the show.
There's a reason we don't do robot episodes. When was the last time you did a robot episode of anything? You're like, man, this was really good.
Here's what makes it cool. Look where these two guys here are sitting. The exact same table and the exact same set. And it's completely different, like documentary mafia stuff. Looks like. But it's all in the exact same room, which is kind of cool. And then they're at the same table there just at night, and there's a podcast going on.
Well, and I'm also wondering, too, I know this is written by these brothers, but I'm wondering how much of every episode is written by them, too, because it seems like it was almost like a playground for writers, right? Hey, we have this set going on. Come in, write an episode. We'll, fill it in and review it and get it made. Because that's what it seems like to me. So I'm wondering if there's a lot of tertiary writers on these.
I'm sure they have a writer's room, definitely, but I'm curious if they're all written. Yeah, so we got like a extra writer.
Miguel Arteta, yeah. So, and he's showing as the front runner for that. So, well, it seems like these guys are just like backing. Say again.
They're the main writers on the show, but definitely got some.
Right, I have a feeling that there's some like general motif and general like idea that they're having, right? But they're letting these people come in and have a playground.
Well, it looks like they wrote the episodes. They just get ideas and stuff with the writer's room. But yeah, I find that more fascinating than anything we watched today. I love that
100%.
Because that's not that much different from what everyone on YouTube's doing, just creating their own stuff, and they just are fortunate enough to have the name and the clout to pitch to HBO and actually haven't put it in the air,
right?
Which is awesome, and the budget. So
yeah, that definitely
kudos
helps.
to them for that.
No, I mean, but there's been some success stories out of YouTube like that too. I mean, YouTube and other types of platforms, but it's very interesting for sure. That, like you said, that is the most interesting piece about all this today is the backside. I thought that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm looking on here just to see if there's anything else on as far as plot, because it really is just a conversation. She tries to convince him she's a robot.
Tries to get him to plug in a heavy duty outdoor extension cord into her vag.
Well, she's like, it's in the place between below where a woman calls her vagina and above the anus. I believe it's called the taint.
Yeah.
Back, makes him do it. She pretends to get electrocuted.
I think they were just like, hey, how do we work taint into this story?
that was when I did the Dick Taylor, the other live show, and I was like, you got to work the word dildo in the
into this phone call.
Yeah. Here's to be a dildo, but I ain't gonna go.
Good shit. Yeah. It's almost like the parody of I think South Park did a parody of like how Family Guy writes their episodes. Yeah. And they would just like throw shit out there and then like make an episode out of it. It's got to be like that.
The dolphin in the tank would pick balls.
Yes, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was a good episode.
I'm amazed I remember that, because so many of those episodes I just like go right through me.
I know, me too. I don't watch it regularly, but there's some things that stand out.
Yeah, it's a good show. It's way better than Family Guy. But
yeah, well, I mean, I think that the freedom of the writing is more intentional, right? We're here to fuck shit up, and we don't care who we piss off. So
those guys actually remind me a lot of the Duplass brothers.
Yeah,
they just like a lot of their stuff they just make on their own, and they say, all right, who wants this?
Yeah. I mean, like, and they're not afraid to like dive into other mediums too, right? Like movies, video games, all that kinds of shit. Like
Book of Mormon is the funniest thing I've ever seen in person.
Really? I haven't.
Oh my God. It's amazing.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah.
You
got to go see it live. They do it at the ASU.
The Gamage.
Supposed to. The Gamage, yeah, but I don't know if they actually are anymore.
Who knows? COVID, right?
Yeah, it was scheduled, and then COVID happened, so I don't know. I didn't follow up after that.
What a crock of shit.
But definitely checked out. When I saw it in Chicago, there's a giant, it was like limited seats, and I got the back, a giant pillar.
Oh, no.
Right through my fucking, and I'm like leaning over, and I hear someone on stage, like they're all having a song, and then you hear like harps, and it's like, hi, I'm Jesus. And I'm like, who's talking? And I had to lean on like a neighbor's lap and be like, oh, it's Jesus on stage. I had no idea he got lowered down, apparently.
What shitty luck is that?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
That's a way better show than this episode.
Last time I was at Gamage, I saw what did I see? The Phantom of the Opera.
I've never been there, so
Gamage is pretty cool, but if you sit in the upper balconies, you can't really see like the upper portions of the stage. So there's like this balcony, or not balcony, but like it's supposed to be like catwalk scene in Phantom of the Opera, and you can't see shit because you're too high up and they're too high up. So they're like underneath the roof that's on the stage, and you can't see anything. But
it's like a severe design flaw for a theater.
It is and it isn't, because I mean, typically most shows don't have something like that, I would say. And I think the real appeal to the Gamage Auditorium is that the rotunda, the rotating floor, which they do quite a bit of interesting stuff with that for sure. Anyways, sorry for my tangent. I don't really have much more to say about this episode, though, unfortunately. So,
well, it's just like the laziest turnaround, because she's doing this is what's going to happen with the Terminator takeover. She even references the movie.
Yeah,
and he's like
the motion picture.
Yeah,
The
He's like,
Terminator.
I just don't believe
Yes,
the story.
I've seen it.
She goes and grabs a knife, sets it down. He's like, when you stab a robot through the hands, they don't feel it, and you can separate it enough to see the gears and stuff, which we never fucking see.
No.
He's like, fuck no, I'm not doing that. And he stands up, and she stabs a knife in his hand. He sits there and
Yeah, like 3 or 4 seconds later, he's like,
yeah,
oh, I'm supposed to feel pain.
yeah. And then she like does the thing, and you're waiting to see those little computer stuff, and no, it's just like black goo.
We don't have the budget for that.
Like they melted a candle over the table and called it
Right.
oil. I don't know. And then he's just, it looks like the worst makeup effect ever. And he's just like, oh, she's like, you get it now? He's like, yeah. Foam.
Foam coming out of his mouth. The fuck was that?
Movie.
Is that supposed to be like his processor overloading and overheating because he can't comprehend what just happened? Because he's self-aware.
Like Futurama. It reminded me of that, where it's like, I don't think Futurama's serious, so why am I taking this serious when he's foaming at the mouth and falls over dead?
Right.
And then the lights go on, and then the window comes and it reveals it wasn't really there, which confuses me as how it's room 104 then, but yeah, the same set, I guess.
Yeah.
Then a bunch of Swedish dudes come in, or Norwegian dudes. I forget what she said.
I mean, I guess it's just got to be a really loose interpretation of what room 104 is, right? Because room 104 can be literally anything in each episode. And in this case, room 104 is some lab experiment room.
Yeah. Makes me wonder how weird they get with it.
Yeah.
I'm interested. It's just
yeah, this should be a front runner for a few episodes, I think, for us to pick from.
Yeah, next time I'll pick a horror one, and then I'll pick a comedy one. Basically, it's that movie. It's not even an original idea because it's that movie, 4 Rooms.
Yeah.
That Tarantino did a part of, which is half good and half terrible.
Yeah, even down to the stabbing of the hand, except in that they lost a pinky, right?
A pinky, yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, dude.
that part, and there was no witch titties.
Oh, the witch one was so bad. 2 of the 4 of those are awful. The other 2 are great.
That movie is hard to get through, but there is a bit of value in it.
Just watch the Robert Rodriguez and Tarantino ones and call it a day.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Robert Rodriguez one with where he keeps going, what's that smell? Keep talking about the smell.
You know what's funny?
It makes me laugh so hard.
I bought that and watched that one time. I've watched it one time, and it was when I was first really getting into Tarantino and like movies in general, and I haven't watched it since.
I only saw it once.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any value in rewatching that, to be honest.
Just half of it.
Yeah.
No, I did.
Whereas there's a bunch of other ones that I'll be happy to rewatch. I just rewatched. No, I didn't rewatch anything, did I? I don't know. I did watch a documentary on Amazon for him, though. That was really good. He's not in it, but it's a bunch of people and actors that have been involved with him talking about the processes, and it's pretty cool.
Is it that 20-year thing?
I don't know. It was like the first 8 or something like that.
Yeah, there's that one too.
It was really good.
Yeah, I don't know. I like Tarantino's movies, but I don't really want to watch him.
No, well, and that's the interesting part is that he's not even in it, and him as an actor, I don't really care for. I think it's fun how he tries to puts himself into his movies and stuff, and I think his best and funniest role yet is there's 2. There's the Pulp Fiction role, where is it Jimmy or something like that,
yeah.
And then
Jimmy's dead in storage.
Yeah.
I won't say the word because class 4 and higher are
exactly. We can't do that here. And then the other one I really love is the cameo in Django as the Aussie.
I was just gonna say that's my least favorite Tarantino.
Really? I thought it was so ridiculous and
he
funny.
Stands out so bad in that scene.
Oh, he does, but I think that's what makes it even better. It's so obnoxious, and then he blows up. It's so good.
I love him in From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah. That's another one I haven't watched in a long time. I think I've seen it maybe like twice, and that was when I was first getting into it. I need to rewatch that one. That's a good one.
Let me Let me recite the movie for you.
I know.
All right.
Good shit.
Yeah, that movie's one of my favorite movies, though. But
Is
all
it?
right. Why does this have a 7.2 on IMDb? Is beyond me.
Well, and that makes me concerned for the other ones that have such a high rating too. I'm like, if this has a 7.2, then what's with the ones that have like a 4 point whatever or a 5 point whatever? Because
Yes, but then you got to realize if this has 251 votes for 7.2, that means there's a lot of idiots watching the show, and therefore they probably missed all the good stuff and the good ones, the actual good ones. So there could be a little bit of flip-flop scores going on. You muted yourself, dude. Okay, Frank, you good?
Mother cocker. Yeah, I could see it, is what I said.
I definitely want to watch more.
Me too.
I'll schedule one way down the line.
All right.
Way down
Bet.
the line.
I'm in for it.
I want to find a horror one.
I think it deserves an attempt to find a redemption episode. Like there's got to be some good ones in there that we could see.
I guess my final notes would be not a badly written episode, just a badly paced script. It needed something else going on.
It needed something else going on, and it didn't need to be 35 minutes long.
27 minutes long.
Or whatever it fucking was.
It felt like, I was mentioning when you were off air there, when you had the irresponsibility to leave.
Yeah.
I mentioned that it felt longer than last week's episode of Amazing Stories, which was an hour. This felt long.
I missed that one, really. I'm most upset that I missed Lord of War. I love that movie.
You know what? You'll have a chance to talk about it during the next show.
Right. We'll debrief.
But out of 10, I'm gonna give this 5.
I think it's generous. I'm gonna give it a 4.
Yeah. Well, TV episodes, you go a little bit higher than normal, like with a movie. You don't really rate it the same.
I don't disagree with that. I'm just thinking like this one felt low effort and
I can't argue with that.
Poor execution.
For me, it was like just those couple, like if it was just had a little bit more a B story going on, an additional character that came in, that would have changed everything.
Well, and it didn't help that it was so goddamn predictable, right? You know, granted, it's hard to surprise me anymore with any type of plot that I watch. Like, there's very few movies or TV shows that do that anymore. But this one you could see coming like 1,000 miles away. You called it within like the first 2 minutes. So
I called everything.
Right.
I called the color of their coats. Come on.
Well, I don't think that one was much of a stretch.
Yeah, but if it was like government guys, it could have been black coat, something. But man,
If we are from the SS.
You know what was really bad is in a movie I was excited for, because as much as I don't like them, I also really love the Saw series. I love it because how stupid it is.
Yeah.
And
have you seen the latest one?
That's what I was getting to. I watched the new one. Have you seen it yet?
No.
I won't reveal anything. I'll just say I predicted who the killer was and why he was the killer within the first 20 minutes.
That's so sad.
And then I watched it with her, and we had to sit there and just wait for it to happen. And then it happened. I was like, "Yep." How is this one the worst? It's got Samuel Jackson and Chris Rock. Come on.
Well, I mean, we've been going too long. I mean, the core movies of this were amazing, right? It wasn't so much. Yeah, I mean, in quotes, granted, it's the movies themselves are schlock. Don't get me wrong, and they're grotesque and ridiculous, but the underlying story that continues throughout each of them is amazing.
That's 100%. Why I watch them.
I try to tell people that, like, I've tried to have Kelly watch them, and she won't do it because of the gore. I'm like, I understand the gore. Like, don't get me wrong, it's a bit much, but the story here is really good.
The gore is nothing.
Yeah.
If you watch the gore, like the movies are known for their torture and gore, and I watch them and I'm like, but if you watch like what's it called? The Eli Roth movie, where they kidnap people and pay to torture them. What's that movie called? Fuck.
Oh, fuck.
You know what I'm talking about? Those movies. Those are like they cut an eyeball. Yeah. You see that's gore. Saw is very tame compared.
Yeah, I mean, and Saw is blockbuster gore. right?
Yeah.
It's a little bit exaggerated. You don't see everything happen, and you can tell that it's not super real.
When
But
you sit down and watch it, you realize how much is actually like it's not visual. They do it in your mind, where the camera cut away to something else, and you hear like
crunches, yeah.
you don't
Like
see it.
I think it's like 3 or 4 when he's in the rack. The guy's in the rack, and it starts twisting his arms and legs.
The country,
And
Iraq,
no, the rack,
Iraq, yeah,
where he's up and he's like, and it
Yeah.
starts twisting and everything. That one got me. But yeah, no, I know what you mean. But truly, the story there and the thought that went into the writing of that story, and like, it's so good.
The reason I love it is because the writer is sitting there, and you know who the writers of those movies are, and a lot of the directing.
Mm-mm.
Lee, I forget his last name. Lee Witt. I don't forget his last name, but
Mm-hmm.
he's the guy who's in Sinister. He plays her one of her guys. You know.
Okay.
You know, she
Have I
has 2
seen
guys with her.
Sinister?
One's a chubby dude. One's a skinny dude with glasses. It's a skinny dude with glasses, but he wrote a lot of those movies. He's in the first Saw. He's in the first Saw movie as the other guy in the room. Wow, that guy very bright in here.
Oh, okay.
The guy who's like the reporter, and he's like, no, he's a terrible actor in that movie. But
Yeah.
he wrote some of them, but I love how genius they thought they were being by having that ending being like, and you will, if you do this, you'll get to like it's all Jigsaw saying something through a tape recorder that you hear at the end, and it's like you see the video playing of the character realizing they should have been warned from the first place, and it's like, this is so stupid.
That makes me sad.
But they write it like, yeah, it's written like this genius art, but it's a fucking Saw movie.
It's a fucking.
That's what I love about it.
Yeah. So you're saying this latest one is just a money grab then?
The latest one, I wanted the love. I was very excited, and I don't know if I've ever said that about a Saw movie.
Yeah.
But I was watching it, and I'm like, it's him. This is why. There you go. I shouldn't predict why.
Right.
I predicted why before that shit was even talked about.
Yeah.
I predicted a character didn't exist. That's amazing. I swear to Christ, it was. Oh, I was so pissed off. I was like, "Fuck you, movie." So obvious.
I do the same shit whenever we're watching something like, I don't know, really like mainstream.
Yeah.
Like Kelly will be like, I saw this. I wanna watch it. I'm like, all right, cool. The guy's dead. Or his girlfriend's dead. Like 5 minutes into the movie. It's like some rom-com about finding himself.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
like,
we can talk about that in the next episode that we're doing here.
oh God, don't even get me started, bro.
But I will say, when we watched the show Slasher, it's a Canadian show on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
We watched the 3rd season first because it was like a camp and like all this slasher shit going on at the camp. And I went, that's the killer. That guy doesn't exist, does he? Nobody else is talking to him. No, something's off. She's like, shut up. What are you talking about? And I was like, all right.
Mark my words, bitch.
Yeah, that's what happened. I was like, fucking called it. It's so obvious. When you see a character just talking to the crazy lady,
yeah,
you don't see him talking to anyone else.
Well, the problem is I think that like we've almost kind of ruined ourselves for this, right? We consume so much of this information and so much of these movies and shows that like,
yeah,
we're in the mind of the writer at this point, and we're like, man, it's going to take a lot to convince me otherwise or to blow my mind at this point. So that's when I say, like, when I tell you like a movie came out and I'm like, oh shit, like Tenet, that movie fucked with me. Like for days I was thinking about that movie.
I liked it.
Yeah. I had to watch it like 3 or 4 times to understand it.
I understood it the first time, but when you're watching it the first time, you're sitting there going, wait.
Yeah.
You're not confused by the plot.
Well, what's funny about it,
about the logistics of the plot.
Right, exactly. And they tell you in like they kind of break the fourth wall in the part where they're like, don't try to understand it, right? Because you won't.
It's the Avengers time travel. Don't
Right.
not back
Yeah.
to
Yeah, the Avengers time travel.
And if
What
you
a
think about
crock
it,
of shit.
you realize how little sense that makes. How they can pull Gamora from the future or the
Yeah.
past, but not say whatever.
Yeah. Stupid. Anyways, I
And
feel
why
you. We're on the same wavelength.
Okay. Anyway, yeah, it's okay. This episode was not a good one.
Nah.
I did get to the point, which I do when I do my solo Tales from the Crypt Keeper cartoon episodes, where I'm like,
Yeah.
fucking come on. What happened? I got there with you today.
You know, Frank would have hated this episode.
He would have talked about how the robots are gonna really see.
You know, this is a bunch of bullshit because the submarines and the airplanes.
Oh, man. World War II, they used to do. Let me play a clip of an unrelated guy from YouTube.
Yeah,
and he's laughing the whole way through, and we're going, "What are we doing?" Anyway, let's get out of here, Jansen.
All right, let's do it.
We'll do our outro. We'll take our potty breaks in the live show. Our other live show is going to be B Movie Battle. Fucking too many. 57.
Score to settle.
Nick Cage Cast 35. A score to settle from 2019.
Let me tell you, nothing gets settled.
I'm pretty sure he's a robot in that movie too, but
I'm pretty sure he had a stroke before that movie.
Oh man. Let's just say when I made my list I was ranking the movies of Cage, and I was like, all right.
Yep, that's right. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. I had to go real deep into that bench and just all right, we go there.
Yeah.
All right, let's get out of here. Until next time, in the meantime, I'm Phoenix West.
I'm Jansen Carlin.
Here's our government mandated outro.
So long, citizens.
Just steal my fucking
outro.
I
love to fucking steal it, dude. It's so fun.
You know what else is fun? Don't ever do that again.
Citizens of Wonderland, rejoice in the fact that we have covered another episode on the podcast. Go to liwstudios.com for more videos and podcasts. Subscribe to Loitering in Wonderland on YouTube. Search on Amazon for books by Richard Pierce. Until next time, and in the meantime, we are Phoenix West, Dick Dickett and Jansen Carlin. So long, citizens. All hail our glorious leader. Shut off the fucking podcast now.
Just like I had to do last week, there is no Dick Dickett.
Mm-hmm.
Like last week, there was no Jansen Carlin.
Yeah, true.
Little bitch ass. And that's how the podcast ends. You burping. All right. Break time.
All right. Go take a piss.
Hey, Jansen.
Hi, Metalla.
I can hear you.
You can hear me? What's up, loser?
What's that, loser?
I heard you name the baby some Asian shit.
Baby's Chinese.
Is what?
He's Chinese.
He's Chinese.
Yeah, I'm Chinese.
You are? I didn't know that.
Too much, I'd say.
That's pretty cool.
Eh.
I really like his first name though.
Yeah, me too.
It's cute.
Name.
Speaking of Tenet,
Yeah, right. I want to do an old school name like that for our first kid.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
what?
I want to do like
Archie.
no, I want to do like Harvey or
I like Harvey.
or Harrison.
I almost named Harley Harvey Dent. I
Did
went with
you?
Harley Quinn instead, but she's female.
I'm eating cheese and breadstick snack pack like an 8-year-old.
Wow. You got some Dunkaroos too? Or Dunkaroos?
No, I don't, unfortunately.
Gushers?
I do have Gushers. I did also have some Go-Gurts.
You need
I'm a 4-year-old.
eating habits.
It's my wife's fault. She has Lunchables in there. Like, I should get to enjoy some snacks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course.
Chug it. She won't chug my vodka.
She want what?
She won't chug my vodka.
She won't chug it? I don't think it's a good idea for her to chug it. She's pregnant. I think we're gonna try start trying soon.
Oh.
Secrets.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very exciting. I was
Getting
telling
on
you
the baby
a
train.
lot of baby
Huh?
clothes, stuff like I haven't even used.
Yeah.
Christina hasn't even used, so got you, bro.
Nice. Well, I'm excited for the baby shower and the wedding soon. I hope the wedding's still on. Are you on leave yet?
No. I probably will take it ending of October,
Okay.
if not November for sure.
When's the due date?
Technically November 15th, but
Was Cena early?
no, Cena was full term.
Was-
Like they took a day or two early, but no, that bitch did not want to come out. Get out.
Cena, your mom called you a bitch.
She can hear her too.
She cannot.
She's right through that paper wall.
Yeah.
She should be
Poor kid has to listen to Phoenix like blabber on about fucking TV shows all the time.
Right. She's sleeping by then, so it's not too bad.
Oh man. Well.
We were just talking about Saw, the new Saw movie.
Oh yeah.
Isn't the one we saw? Oh.
The one where I predicted the killer and his motivation.
Yeah. It was a bummer.
I
I haven't watched it yet, but
Don't
I'm going to. I have to.
It's
You
the
know what I
worst
mean?
one out of all the other bad ones.
Yeah.
Do a little better.
When they started adding in actors that are like B actors, but you know who they are, kind of thing, I think is when that movie franchise kind of started taking a tilt downhill. Anyways,
Agreed.
y'all coming to my birthday party?
I like how it says I'm going and he's
This fucker. Listen,
maybe.
if she's going,
Right.
you are going.
You say that, but
Do you guys need anything, by the way? I keep meaning to message.
this is all live on YouTube.
Who cares? YouTube is fine. No, not necessarily. If you guys want to bring something, you're more than welcome to, but we're gonna have barbecue,
Got it.
drinks, all kinds of stuff.
Adios, my friend.
Get out of here. We're trying to fucking record some shit.
Oh yeah, sorry, my bad.
I need to go get the Blu-ray out of the other room for visual
Oh.
prop.
You got to hold it up for 3 seconds.
Just gonna test out. Make sure that episode's saved.
It was really good. Yeah.
And he's laughing.
I want to hear my burp at the end of it.
Oh, let me replay it. It's literally the last second of the. No.
Shut.
Jansen Carlin.
Yeah, true.
Bitch ass. There's the end of the show. All right. Shall we?
Let's do it.
Shall we continue?
If we must.
We must. Let's switch over to B-Movie Battle. Of course you have a problem with the audio.
We're having a problem with the audio.
Nothing's changed, so of course it has a problem. It's so dumb. All I do is switch it off it and switch it back on, and it's like, oh yeah, that I totally know what you mean. Yeah. B-Movie Battle 57. Nick Cage Cast 35.
I love how you never know which one you're on. It cracks me up.
Florida Settle 2019. Holy shit, let's go.
Let's go.
This is not a test. This is your emergency broadcast system announcing the commencement of the B-Movie Battle sanctioned by the government of Wonderland. Swear words of Class 4 and lower have been authorized for use during the show. All other swear words are restricted. Wonderland officials of ranking 10 have been granted immunity from the show and shall not be harmed. Commencing at the siren, any and all crime, including murder, will be legal for 1 continuous hour. Police, fire, and emergency medical services will be unavailable until the review concludes. Blessed be our Wonderland leaders in America, a nation reborn. B-Movie Battle is now in effect.
Hi.
Not that time, motherfucker. I
Finally
was
got
ready
wise. It's so weird that it plays, and even on the podcast and on the recording, it plays the exact same volume.
Really?
You guys plays super loud.
I don't know why. It's just like you're like, oh, what the fuck?
Cocaine, bro. You gotta.
Side question before we get started: have you watched the Purge movies?
Oh yeah, all of them.
Well, I mean, I'm assuming you have.
One.
You have, and you enjoy them.
All of them. Every last no.
I think I've seen like the first 2. Maybe another
on
one.
Our last show on LAW Anthology Series Review, the Room 104 episode, we talked about the Saw movies. Let's talk about the Purge movies because
okay, real quick.
The reason I made that intro is because we watched all the Purge movies, including both seasons of the series. There's a Purge.
Oh, how's that?
First season sucks. Second season pretty good.
Okay,
yeah, better than most of the movies. And then we watched Forever Purge, the new movie, and that's just like a blue Twitter nightmare of white people are racist and horrible and blah,
just
blah, blah.
Jerking each other off.
Yeah, it's that, but yeah, they're okay at best.
Okay.
The first movie I don't like that much. It's okay. It's a fun idea. I like the idea more than anything.
Right. That's kind of what I was gonna say. Like I like the premise of it more than anything. The execution is okay. It's fine, but the idea was what had me hooked. It's
one of those things that if you think about in any length of time, you come up with holes. Like, how is this gonna fund? How is this cheaper in the long run? You have to do billions of dollars worth of repair every year with less people to pay into the
right.
How is
collecting less taxes? We have all these bodies we have to clean up.
Buildings that are exploded.
Yeah,
like are on fire because fire's not illegal, even though bombs are. But you can set a fire. Yeah, it makes no sense. But the second season of the show is actually more interesting than anything we've seen because it tackles. The opening scene of the season is a woman coming on stage and like auditioning, and she's like, she's all nervous. She's like, okay, well, how do I read this? Like, what kind of thing is it? She's like, just read it like you're a kindergarten teacher. And she's like, okay, well, commencing at the siren. And they tell the story of how that got made for just one scene. And then it's like a bank heist, but the guy gets caught with like walking out the door as the siren starts, and so they track him down. And they go into how they actually deal with criminals that break that law about, doing shit after the siren, and they don't fuck around. But it was just way more interesting than anything I've seen in any of the movies.
Yeah, and I feel like that would be the latching on point for me is like what's the aftermath situation? What's the in-between story? That would be more interesting for me, I think.
And that is what you get out of season 2 of the show. Skip season 1. It's a waste of your time.
Side note, I did start watching the newest season of The Walking Dead, and happy with 10? That so far. Yeah.
I haven't seen it. I watched the first couple episodes.
There's one season 10 or 11. 10?
Season 11 is the one that's coming out like now or shortly.
The one that just came out this week. Okay. I watched the first episode. Very good.
Yeah, I like season 10. What I watched so far. 9.
You know what's funny is like season 9 and 10 come back to the comic books a lot more than some of the other seasons do, which I really enjoyed.
The reason I like season 9, because I fucking hate season 6 through 8. I fucking despise them. But
they go way off book.
They got a new showrunner. I forget her name. But anyway, she was like, all right, well, let's do this. Like, people are starting to hate our show. So she fixed a lot of it from what I've noticed.
Yeah.
But we're here to talk about A Score to Settle, believe it or not.
Let's do that.
Now that we're 5.5 minutes in, let's talk about this
show. We needed some lead in. We needed some small talk to get us going.
We needed to lube us up,
Yeah. I need you to buy me dinner before you fuck me in the ass.
Before the fisting. Okay, so because it's just the two of us, we're talking about A Score to Settle. We have more time to not get distracted, even though we're struggling so far. This isn't a movie that we need the time, though. Like Pig would have benefited from 2 people instead of 3.
100%.
Although I am glad we had 3 because everyone got their opinion and we love that movie.
That was a good episode.
This movie, we don't need time to discuss this. We don't need 19 years in prison.
Nope.
To discuss this movie.
10 minutes.
It's a Blu-ray I got from Walmart, and in order to sell this movie with Nicolas Cage on the front, they have to put a slipcover on it because they think, oh, extra value. It must be a really good movie.
Made you pay for it, didn't they?
Well, I might regardless. So
yeah,
it's a cool looking front cover. I'll give it that. It looks cool.
I'm real concerned about him. Like I don't know anything really about Nicolas Cage, but did he have a stroke? Because even that image, the left half of his face is drooping. Like, what are we doing here, bud?
I think it's supposed to. There we go. It's supposed to be.
He's starting to look like Harrison Ford, like where you would cover half of his face and he's smiling, and the other half of his face and he's angry. Yeah, like there's something going on there.
You know what I found amusing about this movie? We'll get into the plot here later.
Sure.
It doesn't really matter. But I love the fact that this character blows money.
Hold on.
In the early 2000s.
What plot?
There is a plot. You can't say there's no plot. It is very muddled the way they tell the plot.
100%.
But there is a plot.
Agreed.
Okay, so we're not going to reveal anything yet.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about. We are going to talk about in order for the most part. I do want to mention a couple things. This movie begins in the early 90s. Where...
Okay. Sorry. I just have to preface this next part of this conversation. First 15 minutes of the movie, I'm into it. I'm like, this is good. They got a guy who looks like him playing the younger Nick Cage. There's something happening in the background. There's something to hook me in. And I'm like, damn, I'm into it. Like, I know it's going to all go to shit in a few minutes, but that had me. And I was real upset about that. I just wanted to make that note there.
Yes. first of all, the guy who plays younger Frankie is a relative of Nick Cage. That's why he looks so much like
that makes sense.
He's a Coppola, which
and he's probably spent time around him so he can mimic some things.
And he did a good job. He did a really good job. And I was
Excellent
watching
job.
him. I didn't realize he was a relative until before we started recording. I was looking it up and I was like, oh, that's a relative. It makes sense because kid kills it. Yeah, the whole thing is a flashback in the early 90s when apparently Cage was like 19.
Mm-hmm.
Even though 19 years later, he's an old man of 57 or 55 or... It was some generous casting, let's say that.
Yeah.
Because he should have been 30. Should have been 30-something, 35.
Easily.
But he's supposed to be like this young kid who just had a baby with his new wife. And no. Like...
No, and it doesn't add up for the movie to see where he's at after the flashback, right?
No.
That was kind of frustrating.
He's too old. And the whole movie's a premise. It was originally called Old Man, this movie, before it was changed to Score to Settle. So you need that character. You need that flashback to be earlier and the son to be way older. You needed more time in there between when he was put in prison and not, and now out.
Well, and I think even they could have gone further with his age at the same time too. Like the things that he's experiencing as this old man, he's truly not that old, right? No, I mean, I would expect somebody in their late 60s, maybe early 70s to be experiencing some of those things. And that would play more for me.
He's 55.
Yeah.
At this time. He's exactly 20 years older than me, Nick Cage.
Okay.
He's born 20 years before me, so I can easily do the math. So he's 55 in 2019.
Sure.
He's too young to be called old man, and everyone will be like, you're old as hell. Like, he's older. Yeah, 55 is older. But not old enough to be not that age where you're like, you fucking old man. Like, no. Like,
no. Yeah, it was, I think, honestly, poor casting.
Liam Neeson.
Yeah, and I think it was a poor casting. Like, I don't think that he should have been in this role.
Well, they could have. If you want Nick Cage in this movie, this is your script. Just change a couple things. He's not that old. The old thing doesn't fucking matter in this story.
It doesn't. Like, it's really his condition that matters, right?
He does sick man. He doesn't need to be old man. Like, and they don't play. Okay, we're all over the place.
Yeah, go ahead and just set it up first.
Let me set it up. It's a flashback in the 90s, early 90s, where Nick Cage is a teenager. He's basically 12. He's running around, and he's at this crime scene where he's basically trying to teach this mafia boss how to swing a baseball bat and hit a baseball into a guy who's in a chair. He goes outside to get the baseball. Mini Benjamin Bratt, who looks nothing like him when he grows up. He's outside, and he's with him. And then he goes back, and Nick Cage goes back inside. Well, Benjamin Bratt is outside. Not Benjamin Bratt is outside having a smoke.
Sure.
He goes in, and they're killing the guy with a baseball bat, just beating their fucking brains in. And then it cuts, and it says like 19 years later, and we see Cage in jail. And this is the scene that ruined it for me. This is where it went from like enjoyable to because the cinematography is the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. I hate every shot in this movie. All the
there was a lot of like, what was there not like a lot of like pan tilt things going on, like zooms? Or is that a different?
They did like focus changes when he's having memories where it's so you get that.
Yeah, like a video game, like where you're like shell shocked and shit. You're like,
every Call of Duty game does that.
I don't need that in a movie.
They didn't do the audio, the Saving Private Ryan, Beach audio,
which on its own, granted, like. That really did work in that movie, right? But this is not the movie for it.
No, because it was okay. He's in prison. He's getting out. He talks to his doctor, and she's like, "This is why we're letting you out because you're fucking dying." And he gets out. He walks outside. His son walks up to him, and he goes, "No car." And he's like, "You're a grown man. It's crazy." And they walk off.
Pause. I knew right then.
Okay,
just so you know.
Okay.
I'm not going to say any more than that.
Okay. So
right then.
and then they walk away, and then they the problem is he gets back to they go do a bunch of shit. They spend money. He goes to the house, takes a cab there. Barry digs up a bunch of money and a baseball bat that was used in the crime and a baseball card that he shows his kid, puts in his pocket. And then he starts having flashbacks, and it was like seeing the crime and then him in prison, and it's all doing that fucking
yeah.
And I'm like, God damn, like I just saw this. Like, come on.
You know what pisses me off most about this part of the movie is that like throughout the first, like I would say the first act, right? The first 30, 40 minutes of the movie, there's a lot of like baseball, like pointed, like setups, and then zero payoff with any of them. And that pissed me off because I'm like, this was such a big piece of the story that you were setting up between him and his kid, him and his business, and then we don't do anything with it.
Well, let me fast forward and just say him and the kid are spending money and getting to know each other while he's denying the fact that he's going to get revenge on the people who put him behind prison, put him behind bars, because he took the rap for his boss for killing that guy. I don't know why they don't ever show him get arrested or how that fucking happened. I guess it really doesn't matter, but
it doesn't matter, but it would add value. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that's a piece that's missing here is that so much of the subplot that would give us context isn't delivered to us till too late in the movie where we just don't care. Right.
It seems like he just admitted to it without any proof because there's no murder weapon because he had the murder weapon. So obviously that wasn't in court.
Yeah.
And just took the fall for them. They said they pay off, give him a bunch of money. They give him a bag of money, like $100,000 or $200,000. Who knows how much?
Sure.
And then they also said they look after his son and his wife. While he's in prison, the wife dies, I assume of like a cancer or something like that. She was fairly young. The son overdoses. We find out. Oh shit! I spoiled it.
Uh-oh.
Who fucking cares? Okay, so
excuse me.
I'm assuming if you're watching this, you've seen or listening to this, you've seen the movie, so that's on you.
I think we could say that just about it in any of these that we do at this point. Like
not so much Anthology.
No, but like if we're doing a B movie battle or a Nick Cage anything, like if you haven't seen it, then why are you listening to this?
Or if you don't want to see it, you're not going to care. So spoiler
exactly.
4 or 5 minutes ago.
His son's dead.
But that's the whole premise of the movie is he's going to get revenge on them, and that's what we're watching. So now let's boil it down to the scenes, individual scenes, because there actually are a lot of scenes in this movie, and I'll give it credit for that.
Yeah. What was the budget on this? Because I feel like there was a lot going on, but not really a lot happening. You know what I mean?
Yes, it was. That's exactly where I was going. Is there a budget like this? You expect to see like really long extended scenes in like in the hotel room, but really there's not that. It's he goes and he has the son hooks him up with a hooker and he goes and fucks the hooker for a while, and then he has that whole date and he comes back to the son and they go shopping, they get suits and they're like and they're fucking around, and then a bunch of stuff happens, like the scene with the pimp, all that stuff happens, and in the end it adds up to nothing.
None of it mattered.
Scenes in the bar with Benjamin Bratt, and Cage learned to play the piano for this fucking movie for some reason, for that one scene.
Terribly singing.
Even though you don't see his hands hitting the keys, he learned how to play the piano for some reason.
Oh my god.
So dumb, but
I don't even know.
But yeah, there's a lot going on for a movie this stupid and simple, which is bizarre because none of it works.
It's just it was frustration trying to get through it. I must have paused it like 10, 12 times just because I was like, I can't.
I have a genuine question for you.
Yeah.
How many of those pauses happen before the hour mark? For me, none.
Yeah, I would say most of it was the second half.
The last 45 minutes, I paused and started 10 times.
Yeah.
Or tuned out, and I was like, oh, wait, the sun, what?
Yeah, I probably paused it 5 or 6 times in the last like 15, 20 minutes because I was like, I know where this is going, and it's not going to make me happy.
No.
It was just kind of a train wreck.
That first scene cashes a check that the rest of the movie can't pay.
Right, and I think that's what makes me so mad about all of it. It's like you had gold in your hands, right? You
Not
had
gold.
something that, well, I mean, pretty close too. I mean, how often do we see a younger portrayal of an actor on screen where we're like, damn, they fit the bill, and we need to, milk that fucking cow, and they just don't do it. Right? There were so many opportunities for other flashbacks and uses of that person that would have added value, I think, to this storyline.
You know what would have been cool is seeing a scene with young Nick Cage, the wife, and the baby.
Right.
That would have been cool. Seeing how the arrest went, the trials, like quick little vignettes throughout.
Yeah.
Peppered in.
Anything really.
Instead, we get Cage going. You see, like the whooshy camera, and he's
right,
and he's having flashbacks of shit we've seen. Like it's all footage we've already watched. So really, this thing is like you're watching the movie twice.
Yeah.
Just with the drunk filter on it the second time.
Can we talk about how terrible of a fucking actor the son is?
I have so many. First of all, he has not done a whole lot of work, believe it or not.
No way.
Yeah. But the scene where they're buying Rolexes,
Uh-huh.
I was like, what is happening? He's so bad.
He's channeling his inner Cage is what's happening.
No, but Cage knows how to fucking act. This kid was just like...
No, I mean, I don't disagree with you, but if you were going to go and try to emulate Cage, what would you do? I think it would look something like what that kid tried to do and like try to impress him and try to be ridiculous, and it just doesn't work.
I don't think he... But, okay, I guess, yeah, I see what you're saying. But also, I don't think that's anything like what Cage does. That's more Adam Sandler territory.
No, I agree. Agree 100%. I'm just saying, like...
That's a child trying to be obnoxious to attract a young girl. Like, if I'm crazy. Like, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
How is this the same person we watched a few weeks ago in Pig?
I don't know. That's what's so frustrating, bro. Like, I don't get it. He's a completely different person, and it boggles my mind that it all boils down to what he is handed, right? What motivation he is given, and what words are on the page.
Well,
because
talk specifics there, because I thought every scene with the kid, Nick Cage is good in. Every scene where he's getting revenge, Nick Cage is horrible in.
I don't disagree with that. I
I
think that there was some good parts with him and the hooker.
Yeah.
Even though that again didn't add any value to the storyline whatsoever. Like, what's the purpose of that other than getting rid of the money?
It was him, and this is very evident in the fact that her child's name is Joey. It's him finding surrogates for his wife and child who are now dead.
Yeah, and I can see that, but I don't think it adds anything that if it wasn't in the movie, like I wouldn't have missed it. You know what I mean?
No. It reminded me of Jesse Pinkman.
Mm-hmm.
It reminded me of him and that girl and her son. I felt like they watched Breaking Bad and were like, let's do that. Oh, shit, we fucked
Let's
it
pull
up.
at some heartstrings, see how it goes.
Yeah, him and that junkie girl and her kid, and they just failed miserably at it.
Yeah. Man, I mean, to be fair, even that storyline flopped in the TV show, so you weren't going after success there if you're trying to copy that.
Hey, at least that had a brutal fucking ending to it, though.
True.
She comes out on her porch and gets shot in the back of the head.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it added value too because there were subplots throughout that affected the child and the woman. So,
that's a TV show. That's a massive.
True. Yeah. I mean, you have more opportunity there.
I truly believe you cannot compare movies with TV shows. It's
no,
unfair.
You can't.
Horribly unfair. But yeah, they could have fleshed that out a little bit more. Had him have a couple extra scenes. It's an hour and 40 some minutes. Hour 44.
Something like that.
They could have cut out. Here's the problem. What do you cut out?
I think you cut out some of the stuff with the son. Because I think they tried it.
That's what the movie's about.
No, I don't disagree. But they try to do some stuff in there where they kind of get started. Oh, we're gonna go on a shopping spree, and then they don't. and then they do the next day, and you're
Yeah.
like, what? Why?
I would have cut out the scene where his son leaves after he says, "You walk in that door, I'm done," and then he comes back, and then he has the valet go through his phone for 20 minutes while the pimp comes in. He gets in a fight with a pimp that doesn't fucking matter at all. That whole scene, that whole 8-minute scene could be
Fucking
gone.
useless. Fucking
Instead, put in
useless.
a scene with Simone / Jennifer where he's actually meets the child. You know what I mean? Some like the machinist.
Right.
Even if it's
Well,
in a
and
script, he's
it's
still
a complete missed opportunity, and in him also making an additional connection with Jennifer, right?
Yeah.
You know, that part where the kid says my name's, or she says his name's Joey, or he says his name's Joey, whatever. You're like, oh, that was my son's name. You know what I mean? Like we could have had a moment there, but we just completely ignore it and move past it. You see him having a moment,
I was just gonna say, yeah.
but you
I
don't.
actually, okay.
Go ahead.
I know exactly what you mean, but the way they did it and the way they wrote it, I actually like the way they did it. Because if they did it that way, where they all have a moment, it wouldn't have fit the plot the way they did it. So the fact that he just had the moment works better for the way they told their plot. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because she doesn't
Yeah, I mean,
matter.
yeah, because it kind of adds to the fact that at that point he still is seeing red, and he just wants to get done what he came to do. So if you do add that moment in there for both of them, that might lead him away from that, which is not the point of the movie. But at the end of the day, him seeing red and that coming to fruition was garbage too. So,
So this is an example of a fairly decent script. I will say that, if I can.
I don't disagree.
Like on paper, this would read fine, but I would say do some more rewrites, because what you witness in the final cut of the movie is the whole time he's going, I'm not going to get revenge. The son finds out he is out getting revenge all night. He's not sleeping, and then you hear like voiceover of the doctor being like, "You have to sleep, otherwise you'll die." So
we fucking know. You've told us 30 times.
But then he's like, "I'm doing this for you. I'm doing this for you, Joey." And he's like, "How are you doing this for me? Like how?" And they cut away from that, and then later on they go to the graveyard. Okay,
let's pause there for a second. Yeah. Let's pause there for a second. I'm doing this for you. We don't have any motivation of why he's doing it for him.
Yes.
We don't have any interest or inference of anything going on of why it would be done for him, because we don't know exactly what happened. We don't know the backstory of the process that led to it happening or anything like that. We just know he went to jail and he lost out on some time for his kid. Him doing this for his kid doesn't make any fucking sense. He's doing it for himself.
And that's exactly why we needed some scenes earlier with him and the kid, or him and young Benjamin Bratt saying, "I will look after your kid." The problem is they can't spoil that he's dead already. So they need to find a sub reason he's doing it for him. You know, a false front.
Yeah, but
he's doing it for them.
Anybody who's ever watched a movie at this point of the movie knows that kid's not fucking there. Right. So I feel like that's a wash anyway. Right. If we're going to break that little plot point and that little surprise, let's do it with some purpose.
Here's where I admit I did not predict he was dead, because
really?
It was such a stupid movie. I wasn't thinking about it.
You're like, they couldn't be this good.
Like, I didn't even approach that thought, because I'm going, oh, this is bad. The cinematography was stuck in my head every scene that I was like, oh, stop it.
I suspected it. Go ahead.
The problem is when they show he's really been dead the whole time, I went, oh, I don't care.
Yeah.
And so much so,
because it has no value.
I've seen this twice. I watched it again today, and I was like, wait, he's fucking dead? Do I remember that? No. I don't care. I don't give a shit. I forgot.
Yeah, it's fucking sad.
And that's what I want to talk about. That's mostly what I want to discuss about this movie, is the reveal of the son. Mm-hmm. You watch Scrubs, right?
Yep.
Remember that episode where Brendan Fraser's dead?
Mm-hmm. And he's walking around with...
I cried in that episode because it fucking hit me hard.
Yeah, 100%.
He's like, JD, you know why we're here, right? And he's like, yeah. And he's gone. He just vanishes. And you realize they're at his fucking funeral.
Yep.
And I was like, holy shit.
I get chills still with you even talking about it, bro. straight
Right?
up. Like they set that episode up so fucking well that like
Exactly. And
it
that's an
pulled at
episode
your
of a TV
heartstrings.
show that's a comedy
Yep.
that nobody gave a shit about at the time.
Mhm.
It's like, let's do, and they cared enough to craft this episode where you're not thinking about his death. That's what they should have done here, because it's the exact same premise. He arrives at the gravestones with him. They look at the mom's one, and he's like, he sets the flower down. He has zero emotion. And he's like, here's your flower. And the son's right next to him. And he takes, so he's like, and they show the son's tombstone, 86 to 2005. He's 19. And it's like, I should have been there for you. I'm like, maybe if you had some emotion going into this or some sort of setup for this.
Right.
The problem is they relied too much on their somber music. And I feel like that was, oh shit, this looks awful.
Well,
Throw in somber music. It'll make people feel things.
it just goes back to that whole vignettes thing that you're talking about. We have no context as to the relationship of him and his son before he goes to jail.
Yeah.
So we have no like emotional attachment to how he feels when he reveals that the son is dead. You know, I guessed it right when he came out of jail.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And his son's walking up to him. Like, that's fucking weird, first of all, that he's walking up to him. Nobody just walks up to a
They have a
jail.
line that explains it. And
Yeah.
I was in the frame point of, yeah, it's dumb enough. He sold money to pay off some shit. He sold the car to pay off.
Sure.
Okay.
But I was like, that's bullshit. Like I fully picked up on that. Now I didn't know, but it was obviously confirmed later on. But I was like, there's certain little things that stick out through the rest of the story too, like how nobody's really talking to his son, and you know they're all talking to him and not acknowledging that the son is there. I'm like, I'm, and that one little moment at the jail of him picking him up or walking with him is what sets me off to notice those things throughout the rest of the movie. But again, not everybody's going to pick up on that, but at the same time, it's not, I don't know. It didn't do anything for me.
Okay. Yeah, I completely agree with that. What they should have done, this will tie both things together that we mentioned. Show flashbacks, but have them be the kids. I remember when I was this age and you went off, and you see from the kid's perspective, the dad getting taken off in the same clothes he's wearing now, 10 years later. You see a scene with him being a junkie, and like he's just telling a story about, this is how I fucked up. You show the kids flashbacks because he heard these stories in prison and shit like that.
Yeah.
You show those because it ties the character more to reality, and I care more about that character because I've watched him more.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I've just seen him be a sweaty fucking mess and a previous junkie. And why is Cage's fantasy of his child saving him from an overdose and putting him in a bathtub? Yeah. Why is that in his fantasy?
Well, I think this ties back to a lot of conversations we've had on numerous episodes and everything. It's like, it doesn't matter what movie or TV show we're watching. If you don't give us some reason to have emotional tie and value to who a character is, it doesn't fucking work. Right. And that's exactly what happened here once again.
And here's how easy Jansen and I are to please. Brendan Fraser is only in a few episodes of Scrubs prior
He's
to
a
that
fucking
episode.
Cameo.
He has a couple episodes, a couple quick scenes where he plays what's her name's brother or something, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
And that's it. And by the time they showed him again, I'm like, I'm not attached to him, and I still was like, oh my god, no!
Right. I forgot he existed, but you're like having that moment with those two standing next to each other, and he's like, you know why we're here? And you're like, oh shit,
why we're here, right, JD? And he's, yeah. I was like, wait, where'd he go? Oh my god, they're at his funeral. It got me so hard,
bawling. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So I'm easy to make cry. I've never denied that. I can cry at fucking anything.
I fucking cry at Ted Lasso. Have you ever watched that show?
No, it looks awful.
It's absolutely amazing. First of all, let me just, I know you have your skepticism and feelings about these types of things, but truthfully, one of the best top TV shows I've watched in a long time.
I keep hearing that, but when I watch the trailers, I'm going, this looks desperate.
Well, you should know this better than anyone. Don't watch the fucking
know.
trailer.
But the problem is I have to if I watch Archer on Hulu. It plays Ted Lasso every fucking commercial break. I'm like, that looks awful. But I know I love Jason Sudeikis. I really do love him. So
yeah, and it's not just Jason Sudeikis. Like the cast of this show is fucking phenomenal. Say what?
Juno Temple, isn't she on there with him?
I think so.
I
don't know names. You know
girl
that.
From Dark Knight Rises, the blonde girl that lives with Catwoman.
Yes. She's out throughout the whole series, and she's very good.
Yeah.
But again, there's episodes in that show where I'm like, man, I know this is a comedic value type show, but god damn, that was good and like full on near tears. So,
even during this movie, I was still like,
right.
But it didn't work. Like I was like, I had to force my own thoughts along.
No, especially in that last scene, you're like, this is bullshit.
The last scene of this movie, the last two scenes, I should say.
Right. In the dressing room and on the stairs.
Dressing room and outside on the stairs are the worst. They are so
I was done at that point. I was
bad.
like, this fucking sucks.
I guess what I want to say, and this isn't closing, but this is final thoughts on the plot, and then we can discuss something else. But
sure.
It wraps up in this ultimate battle where, okay, sorry, I know I'm kind of two things at once, but I want to tie it in with your baseball thing before I forget.
Yeah, go ahead.
Remember Pig, and we said you keep waiting for the violent explosion. You keep waiting for him to come in and like, boo, 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 boo. I want my fucking fight, and it never happens. Yeah, and that's why that movie works really well.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it worked really well in this movie, where he brings he's ready to hit him in the fucking face with a baseball bat, and the whole time he's been holding this baseball bat, and he's like, sets it on him, puts his hands on it, and walks out.
Yeah,
and I was like, that would be effective in a better movie like Pig, where he gets that he's like, I've been blaming you for 20 years. Turns out it wasn't you at all because you've been in a coma for 15.
Mm-hmm.
Like. I'm wrong. He even apologizes to the guy. He's like, I'm sorry, I blame you.
And I think the reason that doesn't work too is that like this is an gotcha kind of movie, right? The guy that he's really supposed to be mad at is the guy he thinks is his friend. But
also the guy he pulled a gun on in the first scene. So it doesn't.
Yeah.
Truly.
Busy.
Hold on.
I knew you were gonna fucking do that, jerk.
I gave you a warning.
Hold on.
This time I'm not. All right.
I hate you.
Since Dick's not here, let's play the clip.
It's a bomb! He's got a bomb!
What's your revelation here, Jansen, in this scene with the baseball bat?
My revelation?
You were getting to something there.
I just, it falls flat, right?
That's
like we put so much weight on this baseball bat, the connection of baseball with him and his son, him finding the bag with, oh no, are you almost out? What's wrong?
Is this alcoholic? Like, look, I started this at the start of the shows. I'm fine.
Okay. Maybe take like 3 steps and see how it goes.
No, really. I'm not slurring or anything. What the fuck is in this?
It's mostly sugar. Is it flavored?
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Root beer float.
Yep. There you go.
It's like
the sugar counteracts a lot of that alcohol feeling.
I know that, but it's crazy. Whatever. Anyway,
it's like candy. Anyways, back to what I was saying. Like, there's value, opportunity.
Say Candyman in the mirror 5 times.
You want to play a game?
There's value in the fact.
There's value in there's value opportunity in the connection of baseball with him and his son. There's value opportunity in him finding the bat buried with the money. There's value opportunity in the original scene of him teaching the guy how to swing the bat correctly so he can hit a ball to hit the idiot in the face.
And
right?
Nick Cage makes these baseball bats.
Yeah, and he makes these baseball bats, which we never fucking talk about after he tells his son that, hey, I make these. It's
He
pretty
also
cool, right?
He tells the gun dealer's kid after he gives him a baseball bat, I made this.
Yeah.
This is the last you're going to hear of it.
What do you fucking do? Like,
It didn't fucking matter.
the culmination of this baseball bat story is him not beating the somebody with it.
A guy in a coma.
Yeah, a guy in a coma that he was supposed to blame, but he's like, oh, you were in a coma? I guess I can't blame you. Here's your baseball bat back. What the fuck? Like,
is that scene before the sun reveal or after?
Believe it is before.
Okay, he doesn't kill him with a baseball bat. He goes outside, gets shot, kills the dragon guy, and then he goes back, but he's shot. No, so it's after.
Is it after? Yeah, I'm muddled with this one.
Because then he gets shot by that guy, and then goes to Benjamin Bratt's daughter's wedding. Elise or Ilsa or whatever the fuck her name is, but goes to her. Yeah, so it's after. So the baseball shit's already ruined. The whole reason the baseball thing really exists is because he has that baseball card. It looks all pristine when he shows the kid in the cab. Really, it's covered in blood.
Yeah.
And then in the very end, he's staring at the card. And that's the baseball
connection to his son, which we give no value because we've not seen them do anything together remotely revolving around baseball.
Nope.
Nothing.
Other than, I'm going to sell that card for smack.
Right.
No.
Don't sell the card. I'll give you money for it.
This movie is, and this is why I say, a decent idea, poorly executed.
A lot of opportunities here.
There really is. Like, I'd get rid of the baseball shit altogether if it were me, but it doesn't matter. Why do you need the baseball thing to carry through this whole thing is beyond me. So get rid of all that.
Get rid of the baseball shit. Really, honestly, get rid of the hooker shit. Who cares?
Unless you're going to tie it together, you can turn that into something.
You can tie it into something. Should you have the vignettes and the backstory of the son's relationship with the father?
Yes. You have to, if you're going to tell this story the way they thought they told it, you need to have flashbacks of the kid. You need to have more heartfelt conversations with them because they really don't have heartfelt conversations. They have one where they approach it and then a joke interrupts it and they stop. Like in the hotel, he's like, you were there. Let's get you laid. And it's like, oh, come on.
Yeah. And what's his obsession? It obviously is, as we know, his subconscious and an illusion or whatever. And the son has an obsession with getting his father laid. Like, that's fucking weird. First of all, I've never talked about that with my dad, nor would I encourage him to go out and do that.
And that's honestly kind of a clue that it's really just him going, push out my son and take care of a need here. And that's also happens in the scene where he's like, you walk out that door, I'm gone, old man.
Right.
Please. And you're like, what a dick. But really, he's just going, I have to do this. And in reality, you're not even here. So,
which again kills the whole plot point of I'm doing this for you. If you were doing this for him, then why the fuck are you leaving?
Yes. And that's what you're seeing in the moment. And that's fine if you want to say Nick Cage is an asshole in that scene in the reality of what we're watching, which is a son and father.
Right. But what we're trying to see is that he has some sentimentality and some heart and love, which doesn't come across.
So I'm going, oh, he's a dick. So in the reality of the scene that you're watching, you're supposed to go, oh, he's a dick. He doesn't give a fuck if his son leaves.
Yeah.
And he goes and he fails at killing the dragon. He just gets away after this terrible fight scene in a strip bar or whatever you want to call that. What the fuck was that place?
Garbage fight scene, by the way.
Garbage.
Like the hand-to-hand combat is garbage. I know he's supposed to be an old man or whatever, but like it was poorly filmed and poorly executed.
Man. Every shot in this entire movie is poorly filmed. This is one of the worst looking movies I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
Like, I fucking hated watching this movie.
Well, what pisses me off more than anything is the it's not the aspect ratio, but it's really just like the proximity of the lens to the subject.
Yeah.
It's too focused in. Like, I need wider shots altogether to make any of this make sense. Like, every time we're in the hotel, everything's too close together. You're not showing me the grandness of this hotel. I'm not understanding this presidential suite that we're supposed to be in, because all I've fucking seen is a bed and a bathroom.
You get
Right.
that one shot for 3 seconds when they walk in. That's
Yeah.
it. After that, it's Joey.
Yeah.
Joey.
Yeah. It was way too closely shot.
Like camera on his fucking chin.
Which
Joey?
only does a disservice to the actor, because Nick Cage, we haven't really touched this subject, but Nick Cage looks like shit in this movie, like straight up garbage. And I'm not talking about like him aging or anything like that. Like, his face is drooping, and what's going on with that? I'm concerned. And we're making that a point of interest basically throughout this entire film.
He okay.
Which, okay, let's talk about it, because Pig just came out. I didn't think that whatsoever about Pig. I thought he looked good. Granted, he's got a beard and his face covering a lot of things, but the way that the movie is filmed, right? The cinematography, the angles of the shots, the wideness of the shots, the symmetry of the shots makes him look good. Somebody knew what they were doing.
Because Pig had an excellent, I cannot stress this enough, excellent cinematographer. I talked about during our episode. The movie looks fantastic. This movie looks like dog shit. And I think they shot him like that because he's supposed to be old man. He's supposed to look like shit.
Yeah. This was filmed like a castrated Michael Bay movie.
Oh, that's being generous somehow.
Okay, a castrated Transformers movie. Let's not say Michael Bay in general.
Yeah, Transformers might be there. The image in our background here on the live stream never happens in this movie.
No,
you never
it's digitally created.
This visual.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally just this shit that happens. Like, like you're really.
Do you have any? Can you pull up IMDb for some stills so we can give some reference?
If there is any, fuck.
for the YouTube community.
All right, well, let's look at this out of focus shot on IMDb. Here's Dragon.
Right, like
this never happens this clear. This is clearly a production still.
What the fuck?
This is also a walkthrough, but this really amplifies how this fight scene went.
Well, even the set like decoration, right? This place is too clean.
They're clearly in the back room of the production because look, there's a ramp. You got the production chair. It's clearly people. This is a break room for the crew.
All right. We threw a meat sign up.
Oh, it's the last scene of the movie.
That was too fucking close, right? The blood in his mouth.
He shoots Dragon's dick off.
Yeah.
All right, here's where he lays the baseball bat on the guy. The fucking wife sequences were so. Oh. This is exactly why we needed flashbacks with her instead of just him imagining.
Like that's his wife? Because I didn't know until you showed me.
Well, he showed pictures of her.
Yeah, but.
So. There's the other Simone. But,
the Hua.
See, everything looks like garbage. Nothing looks good. Like it's not visually interesting. It's fine. Like some of these shots are fine.
The lighting's poor. He looks pale as fuck.
Like
even that, like you threw a GoPro in the front of a fucking Corvette. Like
I don't remember that shot in the movie though.
I don't know. Maybe it was in there.
But you see what I mean? Like everything is
everything's just front facing. Shitty lens right up in your grill.
And then out of focus, like the wife on top of him in the convertible when he's imagining Simone as the wife, and she's, you good? And it's like the dream filter on it, and it's stop. It's annoying.
Dream filter should be put to bed at this point in 2021. It doesn't work anymore.
I'll say this. I'll raise the stakes a little bit more. Even Between Worlds had better believability in the dead wife category. And that movie's fucking garbage. But that was fun garbage. This is just garbage. There's no fun in this movie.
Yeah, right. I mean, and that's the difference between schlock and like we can enjoy some schlock. There was no schlock in this. This was supposed to be taken seriously.
It was pretend art.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we talked to the death, right?
Yeah.
What else can we say?
I don't really know. I mean, don't get me wrong. Again, as always, they got something made, but they shouldn't have.
Who was the cinematographer on this? I'm curious.
I don't know. Give me a name. I'm gonna look them up.
Let's see here. Co-executive producer, director. Oh, Mark Dobrescu. Dobrescu.
Dobrescu.
Whoever you are, hate you, bro. Hate you.
He's done. He did Just Friends. No, hold on. I want to see Just Cinematographer. He's done quite a bit.
I'm looking at the director, who this is his second actual movie. Beautiful Boy was his first one, which stars Mario Bello and Michael Sheen, real actors.
Huh.
Interesting.
I've literally heard of none of these movies.
Kyle Gallner's in it.
Bunch of TV movies and some shorts.
But like, why is? Am I just exaggerating how awful this movie looks?
No, you're not. I mean, I think anybody with half a brain can take a look at it and say this isn't enjoyable to view.
I just want to make sure it's not just me.
No.
I'm looking him up now. Just Friends. That's Cameron Electrical.
Which I think is more compoundedly frustrating because I think that the first 10 minutes, the flashback was actually shot pretty well.
Yeah. Humanity Bureau in 2017. This guy shot that movie too, which I've done on this show already.
Humanity Bureau.
And that movie looks like fucking garbage.
Oh, it's another Cage movie.
Yeah. That movie looks awful. This movie looks not as bad. It looks more expensive, but it's still shot terribly.
Let's have him put down. You know what I mean?
I can't stand this guy because he ruined the movie for me. He really did. And you can blame the director too, Sean Koo. I don't know who the fuck he is. And I talked about his other stuff a minute ago, but Beautiful Boy. But man, this movie's ugly. And it's an interesting story. It was written by the same guy, Sean Koo and John Stewart Newman. Could have been an interesting story. They just fucked it up like the whole way through.
Yeah, I'm upset about that.
Those are my two biggest complaints: story structure and cinematography. This is why. Yes,
I think story structure, cinematography, and casting. We didn't really touch on it too much, but the guy who portrays the son is dog shit. He can't act, and
Noah LaGrosse.
He doesn't know what his motivation is throughout the entire thing.
I feel like he plays it like I'm dead. I'll do whatever.
Yeah, I did not enjoy watching him.
No, the problem, you know what he reminded me of is Tom Hardy in what the fuck is that comic book movie he did?
Comic book movie.
The Marvel thing. Where he's in a hoodie. Venom. He looks like
I didn't watch it.
A sweaty junkie.
I didn't watch it.
Ugh. Okay, let's get to my.
Generally speaking, I like Tom Hardy.
Yeah, Tom Hardy's great. He's good in that movie. It's just that seeing that character in this movie doesn't make any sense.
Right. 100%.
But as far as where Cage ranks and where the Cage movie ranks, all right. So you're going to see two lists pop up. You're going to need to do this if you're watching. And keep going.
Oh, man.
Quality on the movie, I put it just below Willy's Wonderland, believe it or not. I think Willy's Wonderland was a better movie. I'd rather watch
Really? I didn't watch that one, but I'm surprised because I've heard you talk some shit.
Oh, man. And hey, look what's right there, right below this. Humanity Bureau. Cinematographer.
Quality of Cage, much lower. I don't
on the right,
disagree.
quality of Cage. Cage is awful in this movie.
Left Behind. Oh my god, I forgot he was in that.
He's better in this than Left Behind. I couldn't deny that. I got to the point where I'm like, all right, where am I being sarcastic here? All right, let's move him up. He's better in this than Left Behind. Let's be honest. But yeah, he's even better in like Humanity. He's better in Humanity Bureau because he doesn't talk a whole lot. In this, I didn't believe anything he's doing. If it didn't involve the son or the prostitute.
What Cage category did we get this one into?
It's Quiet Cage.
Quiet Cage. Okay.
Yeah. There's no Rage Cage at all. He barely, except for when he yells for Joey.
There's touches of Rage Cage, but it's not a resounding throughout the movie Rage Cage.
The last two scenes, let's finish on that.
Okay.
He goes, because he finds out through a Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight Rises, you should go by your middle name, Robin. I like that. That scene happens with the nurse at the guy's place when he's in a coma. She's like, we just call my first name a letter. Q.
Q.
Like, he runs off.
I know a fucking Q.
Yeah, it's so lazily set up. He goes, he shows up to Benjamin Bratt's daughter's wedding. He goes in the back. He's in the back room. Benjamin Bratt's like doing like a fucking like, hey, everybody. Hey, you owe me money. And he goes in the back. And he's like, oh. And Cage is sitting there with his little silencer machine gun. And he's like, you should
know what you did last summer.
Yeah, you fucking killed my boy. And he's like, the whole time he's shot and he's already dying anyways. He's,
yeah.
And it goes on for way too fucking long. And he's like, it's like, I fucked up. I shouldn't have killed your son. I'm sorry. And the daughter's like, you have a beef with my dad? And he's like, a beef? You're not going to have a beef?
I forgot about that.
So did I till right now.
I was totally gonna put my name as Jansen the Beef Carlin too. I forgot about that fucking shit. I lost it at that point. I was like, what the fuck is happening?
I kind of want to pull that up right now.
Dude, I want to hear it again. It's so ridiculous.
Hard.
It's so stupid.
Finish off that scene and how he doesn't kill him, and I'll pull it up.
Yeah, so I mean, he's just upset, but then he's like looking at his daughter. He's like, I'm about to do the same thing. So he decides not to fucking kill him, right? And starts walking away, drops the gun. The daughter picks up the gun, shoots him in the upper right shoulder, and somehow that is gonna kill him. And he's like, whatever, fuck it. Just walks out the door. Comes out and there's cops all over the place on the stairs, lays down on the stairs. He's standing there. He's got a gun in his back pocket or in his waistband. And they think he's going for the gun, but he's really going for the baseball card that we have no attachment to. And he pulls it out and they shoot him dead. There's our gun, and they all shoot him.
But here's the daughter saying, you had a beef with my dad?
Oh, yeah.
You should have helped him. You were supposed to look out for him.
This is the Cage we're forced to deal with in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, none of this is built on.
Should have looked after him. You were his father.
Was it before this?
I can't remember now.
He was dead the minute you left.
Yeah. All right.
It doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah, there it is. Okay.
Frankie, what are you doing? I said close the door. Please, not here, okay? Not like this.
It's her wedding day.
Goddamn dog. Okay, just let's.
He's bad here. He's
terrible.
Bad.
Terrible.
Goddamn door.
Like I full on think this is the first scene that they filmed in the movie, and this is him having his stroke.
Just calm down. I am calm. Just do what I fucking say. Isha, are you all right, sweetheart? Did he hurt you? Get out. It's okay. It's all right.
Gonna pause it here so YouTube doesn't show.
Wait, can we talk about how he says get out and she stays like a dumb idiot?
Oh, he stops her. He said Benjamin Bratt is so selfish. He goes, the only way I'll live through this scene is if my daughter's here witnessing this. He's
Right.
smart, but very selfish because he could have just.
Yep.
Because watch, he look at his hands. He stopped her from leaving. She was ready to leave.
His beef is with me. Beef.
Beef.
Beef. You have my son killed. You lied straight to my face about it. You think I've got beef with you?
I'm gonna save that as a clip.
Yeah.
Yeah, beef.
It's honestly, it's right up there with what's that other fucking movie that you have the clip for? In the pharmacy.
Oh, is that Matchstick Man?
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Gee, piss blood.
Yeah.
That one. You ever been dragged to the curb and beaten to you? Piss blood.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them. A lot of great ones.
It's just like it's him having like a full-on autistic moment is what it really is.
Can you imagine how freeing it's got to be him though? Be like, I went to work today and just screamed about beef.
Yeah.
Because it was 7 takes. So we did that for 8 hours.
Oh my god. All right, wrap him up on the stairs.
He gets shot in the stairs and dies while his son's like, look at the sky. He goes, why are you still here?
Dust in the Wind starts playing.
He goes, I don't know. I guess just to hang out with you for a while. I like that.
What the fuck is that line?
It's all the last 2 scenes are fucking awful.
It's like we don't know how we're gonna end, but
I give
just
this a 4.
Ooh.
But I give those last 2 scenes a -3.5. They drag the movie down from a 5 to a 4 for me.
Yeah.
They are so fucking bad. And it's not so much the storyline at that point. The script is fine at this point. It's just the performances and the why is this why? They thought this was fucking like high art. You could tell.
Yeah, I don't know.
Fantastic, and it just none of it worked.
Who produced this shit?
RLJE Films. Highland. There's no major production company on this. Shot in Canada, though. Special features, story and character. Is that blank? On the set, and then Sins of the Father. This scene never fucking happens. You don't ever see anything this cool in the movie.
Yeah, I don't get that.
What do you give this out of 10? And let's get the fuck out of here. We hit our hour quote. We're good. We fulfilled our government mandated hour.
I'm gonna concur and agree. 4, I think, is adequate. It's not quite a 3. There is some redeeming factor to the film, but at the end of the day, these guys got way more into their head than they were able to produce on screen. So it doesn't meet the mark for a moderate movie at all.
No, it's not awful. It's just like, oh, guys, you could have made this okay.
We just had so many chances, is what it came down to. So many failed chances to really flesh something out, and didn't take any of those.
Could have been a fun movie. You failed. It's one of those could have been movies, and the problem is what it could have been is a mediocre movie.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, really, what we're seeing is a story that we don't care about. That if it had all the right elements, would have been a 6, maybe a 7.
No, 6 tops.
Yeah.
It would have been an okay movie that you watch and you go, oh yeah,
yeah, that was good. I don't need to watch it again, but that was good.
It's so lackluster that I've watched this movie within the last year, and then rewatched it and went, oh yeah, he's dead the whole time. That's how much I gave a shit.
Right. Bum, bum, bum.
That's why it's down there.
Down where you deserve.
Get down there. I'm gonna shove it down more if I could, but how do I put it beyond left behind? That movie's
I don't think I've ever actually watched that one.
Oh, I watched it and got nude on camera.
I did watch Raising
Glossed over
Arizona.
that. Oh, really?
Yeah, I did.
Raising Arizona is awesome.
I thought it. I mean, like, I thought it was really funny. I probably would have thought it was more funny had I seen it years ago. You know, I just don't think it had the same weight for me.
Cool. So, Raising Arizona is amazing.
I'm not disagreeing. I'm not disagreeing. Like, I thought it was really good. I just have the context of all the films that I've seen in between when you probably saw it is what it really comes down to. But no, it was a great movie.
I remembered none of his character from when I was a kid. So all of that was kind of fresh for me. Because I watched it a bunch as a kid and then once after that. And then suddenly I'm watching it again now.
My favorite parts of that movie is the John Goodman shit. Him just yelling for like 2-3 minutes straight. It's fucking ridiculous.
When they're like, "Where's the baby, bro?" Yeah, it's the funniest shit in the movie.
Yeah.
But Cage's face when
you were
Cobb throws the thing at him outside that bar, and he's like,
yeah, you were telling me to watch his facial expressions, and I did. It was quite something.
He does a really good job in that movie, but I love that movie. But do not check out Left Behind.
No, I don't need to.
No. All right, Jansen. Fuck this movie. Next time on B Movie Battle, episode 58, Nick Cage Cast 36 will be
Vegas.
Honeymoon in Vegas from 1992 versus Leaving Las Vegas from 1995.
Gotta watch 2.
A terrible comedy versus the one the Nick Cage won the Oscar for. But they're both in Vegas. That's why it's a versus.
I wonder which one's gonna win.
I can't imagine. One's got James Caan. And
you know what's funny
Parker.
is I've seen neither of them, so I'm actually pretty excited for this.
I've seen them both. I can predict the winner.
Yeah. I mean, just based off the Oscar. I mean, not that the Oscars mean fuck all anymore, but
no, but you watch it and you go, "Oh yeah, he deserved it."
Yeah. All right.
This is a good example of Cage doing something because he needed work versus Cage cared about a project and was on board with the director, Mike Figgis.
Yeah.
And was like, let's do it. I'm not here to gloat. I'm not out here to act.
Right. Whereas the movie we just discussed was Cage paying for his cocaine habit and his recent stroke
and his art collection.
Yeah.
So Cage Kane, if you're going to watch his movies, check out those two, Honeymoon in Vegas and Leaving Las Vegas. Week after that will be Valley Girl 1983 versus Valley Girl in 2020.
Oh, no.
And after that, Snake Eyes versus Looking Glass.
Man, a bunch of train wrecks all in a row, huh?
Snake Eyes is very interesting. I can't wait to talk about Snake Eyes.
Oh, God.
Looking Glass we'll probably talk about, but all right, let's get out of here. I'm Phoenix West.
I'm Jansen Carlin.
Here's our outro. There is no Dick Ticket, but you're going to hear his name, I think.
Yeah, and I'm not going to say the thing.
What thing?
So long, citizens.
Oh. It's in the outro, though.
Citizens of Wonderland, rejoice in the fact that we have covered another movie on the show. Go to liwstudios.com for more videos and podcasts. Subscribe to Loitering in Wonderland on YouTube. Search on Amazon for books by Richard Pierce. Until next time, and in the meantime, we are Phoenix West, Dick Dickett and Jansen Carlin. So long, citizens. All hail our glorious leader. Shut off the fucking show now.